When it comes to driving in video games, everyone has their own preference. Some players are drawn to realistic driving simulations, while others prefer more arcade-style games. And then there are those who fall somewhere in between. However, even with the same game, opinions can be divided. For example, some players love the driving physics in GTA 4 while others found them frustrating. The way cars feel and handle can make or break a game for some players. In some games, cars can feel slow and sluggish, while in others they can feel lightning fast and incredibly maneuverable. But why do so many games fall short when it comes to delivering realistic, physics-based driving? Why don't the vehicles interact with the world around them in a realistic way? Why do cars sometimes seem to defy the laws of physics altogether? Why do so many AAA games fail at delivering good driving physics? This video is sponsored by Manta Sleep. Manta Sleep produces the world's best sleep masks and functional sleep accessories that empower light sleepers to sleep better and live more. Their Manta Sleep masks offer 100% blackout for deeper sleep, infinitely adjustable for personalized fit, soft, breathable, and durable materials, and zero pressure on eyelids or lashes. I've been using the sleep mask for about 2 months now, and it helps because I naturally sleep with my eyes open, which isn't good for me. They have different types of masks to suit different needs, like the Manta Cool Mask, which soothes eyes and sinuses and has cooling effects, or the Manta Weighted Mask, which improves sleep and mood with its evenly distributed weight. They also have the Manta Steam Mask that alleviates stress and dry eyes, powered by 100% natural steam for relief in just 3 to 5 minutes. And for those who like to listen to music or calming sounds while they sleep, they have the Sound Mask with razor-thin Bluetooth headphones, perforated materials for airflow and ventilation, and a 20-hour battery life. Check out Manta Sleep here using the link in my description to make sure you get 10% off your order. Join the pro nap movement and sleep better, anywhere, anytime. In almost every case, a game will either have arcade or simulation driving physics. Yet no matter which direction a game takes, it seems like they'll always have weird, broken physics depending on what you do in the car. The best example of this can be seen in the Watch Dogs series. Watch Dogs features a special kind of disturbing driving physics. Not only do the vehicles feel unresponsive and clunky, but they also feel like there's some sort of monstrous code pretending to be a car. The simple act of jumping a ramp or putting a motorcycle in the bed of a truck reveal just how pathetic the systems behind the scenes are. Huge game studios like Ubisoft go above and beyond in underachieving. Glitching like this should not be prominent from a AAA game anytime after 2008, because that's when GTA 4 came out and did it right. It's almost like other game studios don't even bother competing with Rockstar Games. They just accept that they'll never make anything as fleshed out and as solid as them, so they pump out half-assed releases year after year. Even Forza Horizon 5, a simulation racer, has strange physics when you're airborne. The Crew 2 is really bad at this. The physics in The Crew 2 feel more like the physics you'd expect to see in a mobile game. It appears as if the car is glued or magnetized to stay upright, so it doesn't really take any rotational input from the forces acting upon it. The outcome is that everything looks janky and broken. Ubisoft being Ubisoft. Just Cause 3 leaves much to be desired in its vehicles because they too behave horribly to your inputs. The excuse could be made for Just Cause that the wingsuit is the preferred method of travel, but it makes the game feel cheap when the driving elements feel tacked on. Broken physics or handling in driving games can greatly impact the overall experience, but even when these games are functioning as intended, they just feel bad. Have you played GTA 4? GTA 4's driving physics and handling were much different than anything GTA had before it. The vehicles felt heavy, and the vehicle shocks played a huge role in communicating that weight, as stopping would tilt the whole car forward and it would take a moment for the car to level out and settle. When traveling at high speeds, impacting another vehicle would crumble the metal based on how fast you were going, or you'd fly out of your windshield maintaining the same speed that your character was experiencing. I loved the driving physics in GTA 4 and I think that they were nearly perfect. But most people don't like GTA 4's driving physics and instead prefer GTA 5's. When GTA 5 initially came out, I was extremely disappointed to see how they did the handling and physics. It was much more streamlined and arcade. It grew on me over time, but even while I do like the physics in GTA 5 now, I still hate how the vehicles feel hollow. They feel light. There's no weight to them. While in the air, you can even rotate and adjust your car. It's very much arcade-like. And flipping your car over can easily be undone. GTA used to punish you for flipping your car, but GTA 5 holds your hand a bit too much. I'd agree that it's a useful feature considering how most of the map is mountainous terrain, which makes you more easily susceptible to flipping, but it still feels odd. The worst downgrade overall is the damage. GTA 5 looked to perfect the driving physics and handling compared to games prior, yet they significantly nerfed the best aspect: damage. In GTA 4, damage showed. In GTA 5, the damage is nearly imperceivable. Hopefully GTA 6 takes the best of both worlds, offering streamlined handling, realistic vehicle weight, amazing damage, and more. Based on the leaks, the vehicles seem to have some weight to them, although not many of the leaked clips contained footage on driving. Paying attention to finer details can make driving in video games much more believable. The way a vehicle interacts with its surroundings is crucial, from the way its tires respond to curbs or objects on the road, to the physicality of car doors that act as their own object, detachable and fully realized. Additionally, the way world objects can be destroyed by your vehicle shows a level of realism that most games don't bother including. Most games don't seem to put energy into all elements of a good vehicle system, so no single game feels 100% realistic. Most feel clunky. Some games literally put the bare minimum into their driving elements, like Final Fantasy, where you simply control the speed while the car follows an invisible track. They did update this about 2 months after release, but still, it was a dumb idea in the first place. Motorcycles or bikes never seem to have good handling in nearly any game. Not even Rockstar has been able to figure this one out. The physics always feel non-existent, while the rigidly stiff motion and control destroy any possible immersion. They need to implement a control system that incorporates lean and turn. The new motion-sensitive PlayStation 5 controllers could be utilized to make intuitive controls for motorcycle handling. If you tilt the controller left or right, your character will lean left or right, and if you move the thumbstick, your character will rotate the handlebar. Motorcycles are more complicated than vehicles because they only have 2 wheels. The current method for controlling them is like flying an airplane with a single controller joystick. It's unnatural and leads to you having less control, so the driving system fills in the blanks for you, which looks and feels unnatural. Good driving physics and handling doesn't mean it has to be simulation or realistic. It just has to feel responsive or intuitive. A truck in Euro Truck Simulator is expected to feel slow and sluggish, while a supercar in any game is expected to feel fast and responsive. Badly executed games fail to translate that intuitive feeling, causing everything to feel horrible. In some cases, like in The Crew 2, no matter what vehicle you're driving, they all feel the same. Need for Speed Most Wanted was one of the best games ever made. It also happened to feature arcade-style racing that was addictive and enjoyable. You really felt the speed in that game. You also felt the pressure when dozens of cops were on screen at the same time trying to catch you. The cars in that game felt like characters, each with their own personality, as the main focus of the game was to fight your way up the ladder against these cars. You could even drive underneath truck trailers. Gran Turismo 2 on the PlayStation 1 was a groundbreaking game that set the standard for racing simulations. It was the first of its kind to feature a huge variety of cars, tracks, and racing modes. The blue disc even featured the smell of fuel and burning rubber thanks to scratch and sniff technology. What do you think the GTA 6 disc would smell like? Games like Gran Turismo 7, Forza Horizon 5, and Dirt 5 have a good feel to them. WRC Generations, developed by Kiloton Racing, is a truly impressive racing game that boasts some of the most realistic driving physics and handling mechanics in the industry. From the moment you start up the game, you can feel the weight of the car and the true-to-life handling that comes with it. The sensation of being on the cusp of being out of control while still maintaining just enough control to stay on track is a thrill that few other games can match. The developer Kiloton Racing is currently working on a new racing game, Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, which promises to bring even more innovation and excitement to the world of racing games. With their reputation for creating top-tier driving mechanics in their games, their upcoming release is something to keep an eye out for. Vehicles are massive and weigh a great deal, effectively serving as weapons on wheels. Therefore, when players experience a collision in a video game and no noticeable damage occurs, the effect can be underwhelming. For this reason, it's imperative that cars have a realistic and significant impact on their surroundings. Additionally, vehicles should sustain visible damage in a believable and exciting manner. Examples of such damage include shattered glass, twisted metal, doors falling off, and wheels detaching. Such features serve to illustrate the chaos and destruction that a car accident can bring about. Unfortunately, many contemporary games lack the inclusion of cosmetic damage to both the environment and the car itself. As a result, collisions with virtually any object in-game tend to be with solid, immovable objects, and the car's response to such collisions is often inadequate. We should experience mayhem when we crash our cars, not whatever this is. Why doesn't Forza Horizon 5 have realistic damage? Despite being the 5th installment, the game feels like a recycled version of the previous titles with minimal improvements. This begs the question, why are game studios simply reselling the same content in new packages rather than offering true innovation with each new release? We used to expect innovation in each release to a game series, but now it seems that new locations are the only things being added. The racing game industry is starting to resemble the sports game industry, where minimal effort is put into each new release. We're going backwards. It's alarming to see that Burnout 3, released in 2004, had more realistic and more dynamic damage than Forza Horizon 5, which was released in 2021, almost 17 years, several console generations and improvements in technology later. All these advancements, and yet we're looking at static objects poorly simulated while being viewed through a camera from hell. As a Microsoft-owned studio and a console-exclusive title, Forza Horizon 5 should be pushing the limits of what's possible in gaming. Where is the effort? It's gone. If only video game developers put as much effort into the realistic damage of their vehicles as they did in damaging their own industry's reputation. In some driving games, many players may notice that some cars feel slower than they should. This can be due to the game's field of view settings, which determine how much of the game world is visible on screen. If the field of view is set too low or zoomed in, it can create the illusion that the car is moving slower than it actually is. You may notice this in games like Forza Motorsports. So when you go to turn, it feels like you shouldn't have to brake as much as you do to make the corner. This can be frustrating for a player because they're playing a racing game because they want to go fast, yet everything feels so slow. Poor camera controls can also greatly impact a player's experience in driving games. Most racing games seem to snap the camera as you look around, making it disorienting and difficult to control the vehicle and camera. You can't even look up and down, you're stuck on this one rotational height plane. The ability to switch between snapping cameras and GTA-style cameras should be a standard. Despite the popularity and potential benefits of VR for driving games, many developers have been slow to implement its compatibility into new releases. It seems that many driving games don't have VR compatibility as a standard feature, despite the fact that it's easy for racing games to implement that sort of feature. VR could offer a much more immersive experience for players, allowing them to feel as if they're really in the driver's seat. It's not clear why more developers haven't embraced VR compatibility as a standard feature, but hopefully, as VR technology continues to improve and become more widespread, we'll see more driving games take advantage of it. The same treatment needs to be given to steering wheel and pedal sets as well, because many gamers have invested in expensive setups. Compatibility needs to be a standard in the industry for AAA games, yet games like Crew 2 have zero support for VR or for steering wheel setups. It makes no sense. Why aren't you trying to be a racing game? Throughout this video, we've touched on various issues that plague driving games and make them fall short of providing a truly immersive experience. In many cases, we've seen developers take shortcuts and recycle old content instead of innovating and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. This has resulted in games that feel less innovative and feature-packed compared to the games we used to see in earlier days. Perhaps the biggest issue is the lack of realistic driving physics in these games. It's a critical aspect of any driving game, and it can make or break the overall experience for players. Without accurate and realistic physics, players are left feeling disconnected from the game world and unable to fully immerse themselves in the game. An open world game set in a city with hundreds of vehicles available to the player will suck if each car feels the same and glitches the moment you try to do anything creative with it. Advancements in technology enable developers to do so much more than they're letting on. We have to stop accepting low-effort, rushed products from these bigger studios. They can do so much more, they're just either inexperienced or purposely avoiding creating good products because real work like that is time-consuming. call out games where they fall short. Save your money for the games that earn your money. After all, these big studios aren't the ones in the driver's seat. We are.